Greetings, everybody. My name is LaVaughn. I'm teacher of the Men's Bible Study Group, and this is Lesson 3. Now, Lesson 3 covers two chapters in Job, chapters 4 and 5, and this is actually Eliphaz responding back to Job. As a matter of fact, the title that was in the book given to this was called Eliphaz Encouraging Words. Now, this is quite long because it is two chapters, so we're only going to pick out a few points that Eliphaz had to say to Job. Three to be specific, but if you'd like to learn more, definitely get a copy of the book. Go through the chapters of Job, even on your own, chapters 4 and 5, and really be able to glean from it, from what Eliphaz was trying to say, what he was trying to encourage Job to do, or to be able to, to kind of get at him, just to be able to say, all right, I see what you're going through. I heard that you're not happy, you don't want to be born, but let me just give you an encouraging word, at least from Eliphaz's point of view anyway. The first point that we can definitely glean from is that from the book in question 2, it says, name a few things that Job has done for others. And this was in Job chapter 4, verses 3 and 4. I'm actually just going to read just a little bit of that for you. Job chapter 4, verses 3 and 4 says, indeed, you have instructed many and have strengthened weak hands. Your words have steadied the one who was stumbling and braced the knees that were buckling. Now, the reason why I wanted to point that out is because Eliphaz starts Job off basically making him feel good, saying, hey, this is stuff that you used to do. This is some of the nice things, some of your good characteristics that you've had. Now, he does this because he's about to go into Job and be able to not so much criticize him, but he's about to try to tell Job how he could possibly change so that way he's no longer going through the issues, going through the problems that he is currently going through. But this is very interesting because out of all the people, when they begin to try to talk to Job, this is by far one of the nice ways as far as when you initially come to someone, between all of the friends, when they were coming to Job. So this is like really good way to be able to encourage Job before he's about to say some other things that Job may or may not even agree with. Now, the second point that we can definitely glean from what Eliphaz had to say, it's taken from the fourth question, which it says, describe Eliphaz's vision. Now, we don't really have to go into describing his vision, but from Job chapter 4, verses 12 through 17, Eliphaz began to talk about a vision that he had. Now, in verse 17 is kind of the key, because he begins to say, kind of like the point of it, in that he says, can a person be more righteous than God, or a man more pure than his maker? Now, he's saying this so that way Job or no one else can very well say that I feel like I am right, or I'm this, or that I am better or more righteous than what God can even possibly do. Because at this time, if something happened to you or whatever, then there must be justification for it, or you can't really say that I don't deserve this, or I do deserve this, or what is my the goodness, the badness, all this other stuff. Eliphaz is trying to say, listen, can a person even be more righteous than the one who created them? That's a good question for us to ask. For us, obviously, the answer would be no. But the question is, does our behavior necessarily say that we say no? Do we necessarily look at God and say, well, I know what you said, Lord, but I'm going to go ahead and do what I'm going to do, and I feel like this righteousness and this what I'm trying to do right now is good enough. And we have to be careful for that, to say that whatever I'm doing right now, as long as I'm doing that, then that's okay. Well, basically what you're saying is, I'm going to make myself my own God, follow that, and then that should be good enough, or that should be counted as righteous. And we have to be careful about when we do this. Now, I wanted to bring out this point because there's a ton of other stuff that Eliphaz says, but he kind of says it again in different ways in the future, and we'll go more into that when he begins to say more stuff, when he's really trying to get into Job, really trying to change him. But that was one interesting thing as far as he talks about, and part of that is how he goes into detail about how he felt like this was more than just a dream, but this was a definite vision that he was having, and his whole mindset was, can a person be more righteous than God? Now, the last point that we can also bring out is something that Eliphaz said, which is actually found in chapter 5. Job chapter 5, verse 8 says, however, if I were you, I would appeal to God and present my case to him. In different versions, it says it a little bit differently. But basically, if I was you, I would seek God. I would turn to God. And which is very positive. And what I'm basically this and some of the other stuff that I've said, when you take it pseudo kind of out of context, it's like, wow, what he was saying was really good. Now, mixed in with what I just said and some of the other stuff I just said, Eliphaz began to talk about the life, what happened to the wicked, and how God would do awesome and great things. As a matter of fact, right after this, he talks about how God would do great things for righteous people, and he's basically telling Job, hey, listen, um, whatever it is that you might have done, and whatever you might feel that you have or have not done or whatever, take your case up before the Lord, but seek God for what is happening before you, because he can see the boils, the pain, his family is no longer there. He can see all that, and he's like, take your case before the Lord, but you definitely want to be able to seek God for what is happening, the issues, the problems, and kind of undercut what have you done. What is causing this issue to be able to befall you so badly. Like I said, those are just a few of the points. To really get into what Eliphaz was saying, there's a ton more stuff that he was getting into. Like I said, some of it is displayed here between these two chapters, but he begins to really get into it more later on in the book, and that's why I didn't want to bring them up here. But definitely read Job chapter 4 and 5. Begin to really see what and where Eliphaz was coming from, how he was really getting on Job, and how he was trying to get Job to basically change his life. Because as we were seeing, when you start to be able to see between the three friends and even Job's mindset himself, they believe in a very strong connection that whenever bad things is happening to you, it must be because you did something bad. Wicked or people get punished for stuff. Therefore, if you're being punished, then you must have done something wicked. That mindset is there basically almost throughout the entire book. And you will begin to see that happening between the different words, between the different people, between whatever his friends might say to him. And so this is basically Job battling these guys, saying, listen, I'm not this wicked. I do not deserve this. And you begin to see the back and forth between them, which of course for us is interesting because it brings about, do we have the exact same mindset, and how do we sometimes view the world, and what is our mindset also on wickedness. But we'll get more into that as we continue on to Job. One thing I did want to say as far as a personal question, question D from the book, think about a family member or friend that you would want to give advice or encouraging words. After you write it down, call, text, email, or communicate just as encouraging word to them. It can be anything. You don't have to be something super deep, something ongoing, a paragraph. It could just be like, hey, continue to do a good job. I believe in you. You can finish. I hope you heal up soon. Whatever it might be, just an encouraging word to someone, pretty much at random. Just put a smile on someone's face. Sometimes we think we have to do something huge or big or, host a Bible study, who knows what. But in reality, you can just say a kind word to someone, and that can really change the pathway to someone's life. Alright, I hope you have a wonderful day. Continue on reading these series. Like I said, we did lesson 3 and 4 together, so definitely continue on doing lesson 4. Hope you continue to get into that. Enjoy yourself. Now let's be able to understand what exactly was Job, what was his response after Eliphaz say all that he said to him. Thanks, and have a great day.